Good evening and welcome to the close but no cigar final of ZQL Season 1, featuring four legendary quizzes who would have made it to any grand finale 9 and 3/4 time out of 10, but just missed out by some minor twist of fate. They finished first, second, fourth, and fifth in the ZQL leaderboard. So, a big round of applause to these four quizzes, and I hope they have a great game ahead. We have Samanth Subramanian on seat 1, Srinath Bhashyam on seat 2, Vinoo Sanjay on seat 3, and Pat Gibson on seat 4. You know the rules, both hands on the screen. And since friendlies are up next week, kindly do not discuss stuff with your friends and fellow players. All the very best, guys. Let's get going with the close but no cigar final. Here goes question number 1. Samanth, question number 1 coming up. The Corner, a 2000 drama television miniseries based on the non-fiction book of the same name written by the author's picture. Their experience while researching this work informed their next creative venture, which they described as a visual novel. Which creative venture that got its name from a slang term for a form of surveillance?
Big Brother?
Not the Big Brother. Srinath?
Us.
Vinoo?
Us.
Pat?
The Wire.
The Wire is an excellent answer. This is The Wire, created by David Simon and Ed Burns. Good start there from Pat. Samanth, question number 2. Which bird, 5,5, found in Central and South America, is depicted on the coat of arms of Panama? To differentiate it from other related species such as the black, the golden, and solitary, this raptor was named after the half-human and half-bird personification of storm winds in Greek and Roman mythology.
Harpy Eagle?
Harpy Eagle is absolutely right. Moving on to Srinath's set of directs. Just before the discovery of the periodic table, 4 new elements with color names were discovered using the new flame spectroscope invented by Kirchhoff and Bunsen at Heidelberg. In 1860, which element did they discover from mineral water at the nearby Durkheim spot? This element, identified and named for its distinctive spectroscopic lines, is critical to the maintenance of universal coordinated time.
I'm going to say cesium.
And you'll be absolutely right when you say cesium. Cesium, which translates to sky blue. Question number 2. This disorienting canted camera angle meant to evoke tension is a film noir favorite. It was pioneered by Robert Wiene in his 1920 horror film The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and was associated with German Expressionism cinema. Because of a mistranslation, its name misleadingly suggests that it originated from which other European country?
It's called the Dutch angle, so Netherlands.
2 on 2 to Srinath on his first set of directs. So it was originally the Deutsch angle, which became the Dutch angle thanks to mistranslation. Vinoo, your set of directs. Which Irish architect designed and lived in a villa named E1027 in Roquebrune, Cap Martin between 1926 to 29 with her love, Jean Barucci? This modernist haven, which was later inhabited and vandalized by Le Corbusier, was decorated with several pieces of furniture designed by the person in question.
Pass.
Passing to Samanth.
Pass.
Srinath.
I'll pass too.
Pat.
Gray.
Gray is an excellent answer. Eileen Gray, Pat, who I believe is in Ireland right now. So great answer there. The
And it
1-0.
started.
Yeah. So the E stands for Eileen, and if you look at the letters, the sequence, that is what it translates to.
Can you go up to the question?
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
okay, got it. Okay, fine.
Vinoo, question number 2. Progressive supranuclear palsy, or PSP, is a neurodegenerative disease. The MRI of the brain in PSP depicts selective atrophy in the midbrain region, resembling the head of blank blank 6 and 5. What is this sign called? The part within the blue ellipse there.
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse is absolutely right. Looks like the head Mickey Mouse. Good answer there from Vinoo. Pat, your directs. Very long books, understandably, have been popular choices of participants in the BBC Radio 4 review program, Desert Island Discs. Which mammoth 7-volume novel, originally published between 1913 and 1927, has been chosen the most number of times by a castaway? You can identify the Shakespearean title of the 1920s translation or the literal title of the 1992 translation. If none of that jogs your involuntary memory, maybe the image.
Remembrance of Things Past.
The
Out of Recherche
remembrance
de
of
Tom
things.
Perdu.
Perfect. You've given me both names. Absolutely right. Question number 2. Which constituency was represented in the Lok Sabha by Jawaharlal Nehru during his tenure as Prime Minister of India from 1952 to 1964? One could say it is apt that an Anthophile like Nehru was elected from the seat centered around a small town near Allahabad.
Lotusabad.
Nice try, but not Lotusabad. Samanth?
Phulpur.
Phulpur is absolutely right. For Pat, Phul translates to flower. So we are done with round 1. Starting round 2 with Samanth again. What rhythmic gymnastic apparatus is a single strip usually made of satin attached to a stick made of wood or synthetic material? Gymnasts create patterns with it, including spirals, circles, and serpentines. It has to be kept in motion throughout the routine.
It's a ribbon.
It is quite simply called a ribbon. There you go. Question number 2. Throughout history, there have been numerous people who have claimed to be the Messiah or Mahdi or Kalki. One such claimant was Mirza Ghulam Blank, 5 letters, who proclaimed himself the Mahdi and founded which much persecuted eponymous religious sect. Their flag depicts a minaret located in an Indian town.
The Ahmadiyas.
The Ahmadiyas is correct again. The blank being Ahmad. Srinath, your directs. Which Buddhist Siamese kingdom that existed from 1351 to 1767 is considered to be the precursor of modern Thailand? It reached its peak under Narai the Great and the restored ruins of his capital Sichi, which literally means invincible city, and shares its name with this kingdom, which is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Ayutthaya.
Ayutthaya is correct. Question number 2. The crew of the twin Mars rover mission Spirit and Opportunity, who worked according to Mars days or sols, were woken up with songs that mirrored the situation of the mission. Which song, by a band named after a famous 1920s German novel, was played on the morning Spirit departed on its free-spirited mission to explore uncharted territories?
Born to be Wild.
Superb answer there. This is Born to be Wild by Steppenwolf. Vinoo, your directs. In The Wire, Senator Clay Davis holds in his hand a play which he describes as being about a simple man who was punished by the powers that be for the simple crime of trying to bring light to the mankind. Which play by Aeschylus, whose two-word title describes what happened to the titular character at Mount Scythia, is this?
Prometheus Bound.
Perfect answer there. This is Prometheus Bound. Prometheus being trapped for bringing the fire to the mankind. Question number 2. Which constituency was represented in the Lok Sabha by Indira Gandhi during her tenure as Prime Minister from 1967 to 1977? This bastion of the Indian National Congress has Sonia Gandhi as its current MP.
Rai Bareli.
Rai Bareli is correct. 2-on-2 to Vinoo as well. Moving on to Pat's directs. The World Sport Photography Awards, instituted in 2020 through a partnership between 12th Man and Iconify, honors the best sports photographs of the year. The overall winner in the inaugural year was this photo by Richard Heathcote, from the heavyweight professional boxing bout that resulted in an upset win by Andy Ruiz Jr. over which undefeated and unified WBA, IBF, WBO, and IBO champion?
Joshua.
Joshua is correct. This is Anthony Joshua. Question number 2. The host cities of Euro 2020 had brand logos featuring iconic bridges to hint at the tournament's role in connecting people. Which host city's logo featured a bridge named after the 1969 Nobel laureate in literature? The shape of the spar and the cables of this bridge is said to evoke an image of a harp lying on its edge. The city was later removed from the list of hosts.
Dublin.
Once again, a hometown question for Pat Gibson. Would have been a hometown question for Samanth as well. This is the Samuel Beckett Bridge over the Liffey in Dublin. 2 rounds done. Again, nothing much to choose between the 4 participants, starting round 3 with Samanth. One of the furniture pieces Eileen Gray designed for the Villa E1027 was the Transat, which consisted of a wooden frame covered with upholstery. What items found on board the transatlantic ocean liners she journeyed on served as inspiration for the Transat's design?
Deck chairs.
The deck chairs on ships, absolutely right. Question number 2. Which constituency was represented in the Lok Sabha by Morarji Desai during his tenure as Prime Minister from 1977 to 1979? It is centered around the second most populous city in its state, also a major world center for diamonds.
Sorry, the constituency is the most popular city. What's
Correct.
the thing?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Surat.
Surat is correct again. This is the Surat Lok Sabha constituency, centered around the city of Surat. Srinath, your directs. In 1992, the founder of which religious group published a doctrine in which he declared himself Christ, his country's only fully enlightened master, and identified with the Lamb of God? In the early 2000s, the group renamed itself to avoid association with the horrific 1995 event that its founder orchestrated. Either name of the group is acceptable.
This is Om Shinrikyo.
This indeed is Om Shinrikyo. Anyone for the other name?
The name of
Yeah, the other name. It is also called Aleph.
Oh, yeah.
It was for the 1995 sarin gas attacks in Tokyo. Srinath, question number 2. What rhythmic gymnastic apparatus made of hemp or synthetic material for its quality of lightness is sized in a way that both ends reach the gymnast's armpits when the middle is held down by the feet? Some of the elements of its routine include swings, throws, circles, rotations, and figures of 8. Ten seconds, Srinath.
Is this the hoop?
Not the hoop. Vinoo?
Rope.
Rope is correct. This is the rope. Excellent steal there. Vinoo, we come to your direction now. Blank, 6 letters. A pancake popular in Ethiopia and East Africa was traditionally made with 2 ingredients, teff flour and water. It is cooked on a large circular griddle known as smitad and is paired with stews. Simply name this dish.
Injera.
Injera it is. Excellent answer there. Question number 2. Which song by a band that is embarking on a worldwide voyage in 2022 was played on the morning the Spirit mission crew was to handle an emergency crisis, regaining contact with the rover after a loss of communications?
SOS.
SOS is an excellent answer. ABBA, who are embarking on a worldwide tour, project through title Voyage. Great answer there. Pat, your directs. 1 year after discovering cesium, Kirchhoff and Bunsen discovered which element by flame spectroscopy and named for the distinctive color of its spectroscopic lines. Used in atomic clocks, it also finds uses in geological dating of rocks and meteorites. The first pure Bose-Einstein condensate was created using an isotope of this element and earned the 2001 Nobel Prize for Physics.
Rubidium.
Rubidium is correct. Rubidium, which means the darkest possible form of red. Question number 2. These unique shots invented by the director Yasujiro Ozu require a fixed camera positioned about 90 centimeters from the floor. This angle imitates the viewpoint of a spectator kneeling or seated on the floor and therefore draws the viewer into the scene. What is this distinctive shot named, owing to what the camera rests on?
Tatami shot.
Tatami shots is correct once again, because they are placed on the tatami mats. 3 rounds done. Again, pretty close. Samanth, starting with you. In which 1778 painting is the depiction of the soon-to-be amputated titular figure influenced by the classical pose of the Borghese gladiator sculpture? In the painting, the pose of the semi-submerged person, as depicted in the painting, is rotated 90 degrees clockwise. Basically, what you see in the visual is rotated 90 degrees clockwise in the painting.
The death of Marat.
Not the death of Marat. Srinath?
Take a guess for what it's worth. Watson in the shark?
Brilliant answer there from Srinath. This is Copley's Watson and the Shark, semi-submerged.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Excellent answer there. Question number 2 to Samanth. Which host city's logo for Euro 2020 features a famous bridge named for a castle on the north bank of the city's river?
London.
London it is. This is the Tower Bridge, named after the Tower of London. Srinath, your directs. Which constituency in Andhra Pradesh was represented in the Lok Sabha by P.V. Narasimha Rao during his tenure as Prime Minister from 1991 to 1996? It is thought to get its name from the Vahana of Lord Shiva.
It's called Nanded.
Not Nanded. Vinoo?
Nandial.
Nandyal is what we are looking for. Hard luck there, Srinath. The name comes from Nandi. Question number 2. Blank, 7 letters. A traditional Venezuelan pancake dish is made of ground corn with the addition of cheese and cooked on a smooth, flat griddle called the budare. Name it. It is also known as corn arepas in Colombia. Ten seconds.
I don't know. Are these called fajitas?
No. Samanth?
Pass.
Vinoo?
No, pass.
Pat?
Us.
So we finally have our first X of the game in round 4. Tough one there. This is Kachapa. Vinoo, your directs. In 1844, Ali Muhammad Shirazi declared himself a messenger of God, took the title blank, 3 letters, and founded which religion? The title, meaning door or gate, is also part of the name of a narrow waterway that gets evocative name from the tragedies that befell sailors who navigated. The Baha'i faith claims that Baha'u'llah is the prophet that blank foretold about.
The Bab religion.
Good enough for points.
What is
Specifically
Sanjay?
Babism, but Bab is an acceptable answer. The waterway being the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. Question number 2. What bird, 8,7, found in the sub-Antarctic region is depicted on the coat of arms of South Georgia and the South Sandwich Islands? The blank blank got its name due to its crest resemblance to feathered hats donned by men who were part of a highly excessive fashion subculture of the 18th century. Within the red ellipse there,
Macaroni penguin.
macaroni penguin it is. Pat, your directs. This actor portrays a character named Scott Templeton who commits journalistic malpractice across season 5 of The Wire. More than half a decade later, after the end of the show, he would seemingly redeem this slight by directing which Academy Award-winning film? It emphasized the misdeeds of a religious institution in a US city.
Spotlight.
Spotlight is absolutely right. Question number 2. Contrast-enhanced CT scans of venous thrombosis depict a thin rim of contrast material in white that you can see there around a central filling defect, which is in dark inside it due to the thrombus. This is called the blank sign, 4 letters, after a resemblance to something reportedly named after 2 extreme regions on Earth to symbolize the cool and fresh feeling it confers. What is this name? The arrow was pointing at what you need to look at. Ten seconds back.
Pole.
I'll prompt you.
Well, I want you room for 4 letters.
We'll have to pass if you don't have.
What
Okay.
did he say?
He
Pole.
said pole, pole.
Pole. Okay.
I'll pass you, Pat. Okay.
Okay.
Samanth,
Pass.
Srinath,
Pass.
Vinoo,
Pass.
I thought one of you would get it from Pat's.
Is it NASP, perhaps?
You said
Is it
coal and
Is it flow?
no.
Star.
The cool and fresh feeling. And look at the shape there. There's a white
So,
rim and nothing in
Polo
between.
sign.
Polo is what we were
Oh.
looking for. This is the polo mint,
Jeez.
resemblance to the polo mint. The name comes from polar regions because it's cool and fresh.
Yep.
Hard luck there, Pat.
Okay.
We are done with round 4, halfway through the quiz. We have Vinoo leading with 9, Pat on 8, Samanth on 7, Srinath on 6, still anyone's game. Which song by a band that traces its name to a television commercial for Olympia beer was played in honor of Opportunity's confirmation that liquid precipitate once flowed through the rocks at Meridiani Planum? Ten seconds.
Rain.
I'll have to pass you. Srinath,
pass.
Vinoo,
Rain on Mars.
not Rain on Mars. Pat,
Pass.
anyone for the band? This is Creedence Clearwater Revival, CCR. And this is Have You Ever Seen the Rain? That's the specific song title.
Oh, no prompt, is it? Okay.
Question number 2. Which primarily Hindu kingdom that existed from 192 to 1832 CE helped shape the identity of modern Vietnam? Deriving its name from a fragrant flower popular in India, a number of polities ruled this kingdom, leading to the establishment of several port cities, including Hoi An, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that is dubbed Vietnam's Venice.
What is it? This is the one of the close but no cigar effects.
10 seconds, Samanth.
I don't know. I just know the flower. I'll say champa.
Champa is absolutely right. Champak, Champakam, etc. would also have worked. Good answer there, Samanth. Srinath, your directs. To further decorate Villa E1027, Eileen Gray designed this minimalist chair with a feminine take on the geometries prevalent at the time. Which stagged humanoid figure was this curvy white chair named after?
This is like Bimendum or the Michelin Man.
It indeed is Bibendum or the Michelin Man. Good answer there. Question number 2. Which literary work has been a popular choice on desert islanders, including the time that Salman Rushdie was a castaway on the shore? In 2015, he wrote a book loosely inspired by this literary work. In Rushdie's book, a group of normal people take on supernatural creatures in a battle that lasts for the titular duration.
This is like 1001 Nights.
This is 1001 Nights or the Arabian Nights.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. 2 years, 8 months, and 28 days translates to 1001 Nights. Vinoo, your directs. A year after the discovery of rubidium, William Crookes of the Royal College of Science in London announced the discovery of which element that he named after the Greek word for a young shoot or twig after its distinctive spectroscopic lines. It is used today in photoresistors, optical lenses, and nuclear imaging tests for cardiac stress. It is infamous as a poisoner's poison for its use in political assassinations. 10 seconds, Vinoo.
Thallium,
Thallium from thalos, which means green shoot, is correct. Question number 2. What rhythmic gymnastic apparatus is made of wood or plastic so that it can retain shape, has an interior diameter from 70 to 80 centimeters, and weighs a minimum of 300 grams? It is used in a wide variety of manipulations such as rotations, throwing, rolls, and passing through.
hoop or ring,
This is the hoop which Srinath had guessed earlier. Pat, your directs. In 1955, self-proclaimed prophet Benjamin Rodena splintered off a group of followers from an existing church, calling himself the blank as per this verse from the Bible. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a blank shall grow out of his roots. Which religious movement did he found? It acquired more notoriety following the actions of its final prophet about 4 decades later, which happened to be the events depicted in this mini-series.
Do you want one or two words?
Ideally 2.
Branch Davidians?
Branch Davidians is absolutely right. A branch shall grow out of his roots. Question number 2. Blank, 5 letters, a staple of East Europe, is a pancake made from wheat or buckwheat flour and served with butter, caviar, and other garnishes. Name it. A similar version in Ukraine is called the mincy.
Blini?
Blini is correct once again. Starting round 6 with Samanth. The photo titled The Smile, taken in 2016 by Cameron Spencer, was the 2021 silver winner at the World Sports Photography Awards. Who was the primary subject of this photo? He was captured grinning at this guy in this visual.
He was captured grinning at this guy.
Correct, yes.
You can't zoom, I'm guessing, right? There's some
I
text
can
there.
zoom if you want me to.
Yeah, please do. Are you allowed to read that out? I'm guessing not. Anyway, sorry.
I don't think that will help. 10 seconds.
It's a Cristiano Ronaldo.
Not Cristiano Ronaldo.
Pass.
Srinath? Pat?
Pass.
Vinoo?
Usain Bolt,
Usain Bolt is absolutely right. This is that famous photo of him looking sideways and grinning at Andre deGrasse. This the gentleman, of course, is deGrasse there. Question number 2 to Samanth. The blank leaf sign is a radiographic appearance seen in extensive subcutaneous emphysema of the chest wall. Gas outlines the fibers of the pectoralis major muscle and creates a pattern that resembles the branched veins of a blank leaf. What leaf? Which is also the source of the stylized T symbol on the flag of the Tokyo metropolis.
So what are we looking at here? Sorry, there's an arrow, but
Yeah, so you can see striations, branch structures. The muscle is, if you
I
look
see,
carefully, you
okay.
can see the muscle branched out there. It is usually not seen otherwise.
cherry?
Not cherry. Srinath?
Jinko.
Ginkgo is correct. Exactly like the striations on a ginkgo leaf. Srinath, your directs now. The now lost colossal statue of Zeus by Phidias is believed to the inspiration for which other statue unveiled to the public in 1922. The design of the structure in which the statue is located is also inspired by another structure designed by Phidias. 10 seconds.
I'll say, is this like the sculpture of Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln in the Lincoln Memorial?
Absolutely right. This is the Lincoln statue at the Lincoln Memorial. And the memorial itself was based on the look of the Parthenon. Question number 2. Which city's host logo for Euro 2020 featured the Pont Sant'Angelo? It was completed in 134 AD by an emperor to span the local river from the city center of his newly constructed mausoleum, which is now the Castel Sant'Angelo. Ten seconds. Get an answer now, Srinath.
Newcastle.
Not Newcastle. Samanth.
Rome.
Rome is correct. This was supposed to be Emperor Hadrian's mausoleum. Vinoo, your directs. Whose facial expression in an early 16th century fresco, which is named after the mythological home of Apollo and the Muses, is inspired by the throes of agony in Laocoon and his sons. The 16th century fresco expresses blindness, traditionally associated with the person, as opposed to the pain depicted in the classical sculpture. Ten seconds.
Homer.
Homer is correct. Anyone for the painting?
So one of the Raphael paintings, right?
Yes, correct. And
Must be
from-
School of Athens, no? I think School
Not
of
School of
the
Athens.
other one.
Par-
Mythological-
All the
Parnassus.
poets.
Parnassus.
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 This is Raphael's Parnassus and Homer as he appears in the painting. Question number 2. One of the simplest camera movements in filmmaking is to turn the camera horizontally so that it sweeps around the entire scene. First popularized by D.W. Griffith, who used this and other shots to their full narrative potential. The common 3-letter name for this shot is an abbreviation for which word? Ten seconds.
Pan.
Pan is correct. Pan from panorama.
Oh, you were supposed to prompt on pan.
Yeah. PAN is the abbreviation. You wanted the full thing.
Vinoo, did you have panorama?
Yeah.
Hey, சும்மா சொல்லுடா. Hey, தெரியும்டா எனக்கு.
If it counts, I would have.
You would have said panic and then like you would have passed.
Yeah.
me.
Okay. Question to Pat now. Which bird, 6,6 in the New World vulture family, is depicted on the coat of arms of Chile? The blank primarily inhabits the long mountain range and adjacent Pacific coast that spans the country.
Andean condor.
Andean condor is correct. Question number 2. This illuminating mirror designed by Eileen Gray was first installed at her home E1027. What is it called? Its name presumably referred to the convex magnifying mirror's ability to orbit around the main mirror, reminiscent of certain natural or artificial entities.
A moon mirror.
It's not called a moon mirror. Samanth?
Satellite mirror.
It's called a satellite mirror. It's specifically called the satellite mirror. 6 rounds done. Samanth and Srinath on 10, Pat on 11, and Vinoo on 14, but still enough questions. Samanth, your directs. Which 1860s literary work, another popular choice on Desert Island Disc, did its author describe as not a novel, even less is it a poem, and still less a historical chronicle? The image shows the cover of the first English translations from 1889 and one of the 1890s illustrations of the book by Leonid Pasternak.
War and Peace.
War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy is correct. Question number 2. A year after the discovery of thallium, this element was discovered in the mineral zinc blend by Ferdinand Reich, who had to ask his colleague Hieronymus Richter to identify its distinctive colored lines on spectroscopy because he was colorblind. Which element that is indirectly named after a country? Today, about 45% of all this element's availability finds application in solar cells and LCDs.
Indium.
Indium is an excellent answer. Indium from indigo and therefore India. Srinath, your directs. The gold winner in the focus category at the 2020 World Sports Photography Awards was this image by Matthew Impey from the 2019 ICC Cricket World Cup. Which English all-rounder did he capture taking a stunning diving catch to dismiss an in-form Rishabh Pant?
Chris Vokes.
Chris Vokes is correct. Question number 2. A common slang phrase in The Wire is one used by lookouts to announce the arrival of police. The slang is a reference to a police procedural drama. Which TV series that gets its name because it is set in the 50th state of the United States?
Is this the Hawaii Five-0?
This indeed is Hawaii Five-0. Moving on to Vinoo's directs. Which Buddhist Burmese empire that existed from 849 CE to 1297 CE was the first to unify the regions that constitute modern-day Myanmar? Its golden age started with the reign of Anavrata, who stopped the advance of the Khmer Empire. Its namesake capital is now a UNESCO World Heritage Site consisting of over 3,500 monuments.
Bagan.
Bagan is correct. Question number 2. Which host city's logo for Euro 2020 featured the Széchenyi chain bridge? Completed in 1849, it was the first permanent bridge across the Danube in its country. Ten seconds.
Bratislava.
Not Bratislava. Pat?
Budapest.
Budapest is correct. Pat, your directs. Which song by a band that got its name from an autobiographical account of a trip in the early 1950s was played when the crew members at two sides of the Deep Space Station antenna network in touch with Opportunity were predicted to experience heavy weather? Ten seconds. We'll need
Nope.
an answer on that.
No, I have nothing.
Srinath,
Pass.
Samanth,
Pass.
Vinoo.
Pass.
The trip in question is an acid trip.
Ken Casey. Yeah.
The band is The Doors.
Riders on the Storm.
Riders on the Storm, Heavy Weather. Pat, question number 2. In the section from Asterix and the Laurel Wreath, one of the slaves on display strikes up numerous poses, some of which are shown in the image. Which classical sporting sculpture is the blanked out portion in the bottom panel based on?
Excuse me, let's put my other glasses on.
Yeah.
Discobolus.
Discobolus is correct. So we are done with 7 rounds. Last round to go. Vinoo in the lead with 15, Pat on 13, Samanth and Srinath both on 12. Samanth, your directs. The blank shot, 6 letters, is a camera angle frame from just below the actor's waist to right above their head to present them in a heroic manner, thus enabling viewers to register emotion on the actor's face and catch important action around the hips. What is the shot called? It conjures up a genre typically set in the latter half of the 19th century and early 20th century in North America. Ten seconds.
Cowboy.
Cowboy is an excellent answer. It's called the cowboy shot because it was used to capture cowboys from their waist up with their guns and the gunslings. Superb answer there. Question number 2. Blank, 11 letters, a traditional Japanese savory pancake dish is made from a wheat flour batter and cooked on a teppan, that is the flat griddle. Name it. It gets its name from Japanese for what you like and cooked.
Okonomiyaki.
Perfect answer there. This is okonomiyaki. Srinath, your directs. Trauma and or infection to the eye region can result in the conical deformation of the posterior part of the eyeball. The typical appearance on radiology is called the blank sign, 6,4. What heart-shaped object from the world of musical paraphernalia fills in the blanks?
Guitar pick.
Guitar pick is an excellent answer. It's called the guitar pick sign because it resembles a plectrum. Question number 2. Which bird, 7,4, found in tropical South America and parts of the Caribbean is depicted on the coat of arms of Trinidad and Tobago? Although other members in its family, such as the African secret, glossy, and American white, look similar in form to each other, the blank is characterized by its brilliant red plumage.
Is this the scarlet ibis?
This indeed the scarlet ibis. Great answer there again. Vinoo, your directs. The bronze winning photo by John Sibley in the precision category at the 2020 World Sports Photography Awards featured which English goalkeeper who recently announced his decision to leave the Hornets following his relegation from the Premier League this season?
Joe Hart.
Not Joe Hart. Srinath?
Lack of better guess, I'm going to say Carroll.
Nope. Pat?
Foster.
Foster is a clutch answer there. This is Ben Foster of Watford, who are nicknamed the Hornets. We know question number 2. Published between 1951 and 1975, Which 12-volume collection of satirical novels traces events in the lives of a number of characters from Britain's upper classes, following them from the 1920s to the 1970s. Chosen by 4 participants in Desert Island Discs, the collection is inspired by and named for this painting by Nicholas Samanth. Ten seconds.
Song from the Music of Time.
Can you repeat that?
Song from the Music of Time.
Not Song from the Music of Time. Samanth?
A dance to the music of time.
A Dance to the Music of Time is what it is called. Hard luck there, Vinoo. Pat, your directs now. If you get both, you win. Which Javanese Hindu-Buddhist empire that existed from 1293 to 1527 is considered to have set the precedent for Indonesia's modern boundaries? One of the last major Hindu empires of the region, it reached its zenith under Hayam Wuruk, who reigned from modern-day Trowulan, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Ten seconds.
Mataran.
No. Srinath?
It's like the Majahapit or Mahajapit.
What did he say first?
Majahapit.
We'll give it to you.
Majapahit.
Majapahit.
Yeah.
Pat, if you answer this, we have an unprecedented two-way tie.
The fuck?
Yeah, I mean, that is what we would want to happen to. Great quizzing. So, final question. What rhythmic gymnastic apparatus is 2 items of equal length, typically about 40 to 50 centimeters long, weighing a minimum of 150 grams each? Choreography is made up of rotations, throwing, and asymmetrical movements.
They're called clubs.
They are indeed called clubs. Superb answer there from Pat, and we have a 4-way tie for first. Nothing to choose between these 4 great quizzes, which means we now go into the tiebreakers. So this is how the tiebreakers will work. You'll have one set of tiebreakers of 3 questions each, which all of you will need to attempt in writing. So kindly get a pen and a paper. Kindly write down each answer, and after every answer, you'll have to show that piece of paper on your screen so that I can see.
I'll just
that.
get a pen and
Yeah,
paper.
please go ahead and get pen and paper. So here's how the tiebreakers are going to work. 3 questions, which you need to attempt in writing. After every question, once the question is closed, kindly display your answer on the screen so that I can see and score you accordingly. All right, so all the best, guys. Question number 1. Claude Maurice Marcel Warrion was a former journalist who took on the name Blank, 4 letters, and established which eponymous religion following an alleged encounter with a being called Yahweh, who appointed him the last prophet. The largest religion of a particular kind. It is the subject of this award-winning 2020 documentary.
So you want the name or the religion?
Both are fine. You have 30 seconds. I'll be closing the question in the next 10 seconds. All right, closing the question. Can we have all your answers on the screen? All right, I've seen Pat's answer. Vinoo, yours is not clear. If you could bring it closer to the screen. Still not able to see Vinoo's answer. So Srinath's answer.
I think you've got a background glare. So
Yeah.
Got someone's answer as well. Vinoo's is the only one that I couldn't see.
Just a second.
Yeah, sure.
Can you see this now?
Can you bring it closer? Yeah, I've seen your answer. So this is a real or realism, which is what Pat, Samanth, and Srinath said. So Pat, Samanth, and Srinath all get 1 point each, and Vinoo yet to open this account. Vinod, if you don't mind, can you just keep track of the scores?
I'll do that.
Yeah, sure. Question number 2. Which song by a band that is named after its members' American home state was played in the anticipation that the rover Spirit might possibly get caught up in a dirt storm spinning across the Martian surface? We'll be closing the question in 10 seconds. Yeah, I'm closing the question. Can we have your answers on the screen? Have seen Pat's answer. Have seen Samanth's answer. Have seen Vinoo's answer.
I had nothing.
Okay, Srinath had nothing. Let's see the answer. This is Dust in the Wind by Kansas, which nobody got. So no one scores on this question. And the final question in the first set of tie breaks. The central figure of The Wire, Jimmy McNulty, compares himself to Alec Guinness's character from an iconic film. Much like the character, he utters the phrase, "What have I done?" after causing havoc in the lives of those around him. Which film in which the titular structure is ultimately destroyed? We'll close the question in 10 seconds. All right, closing the question. Can we have your answers on the screen, please? Have seen Srinath's answer, have seen Samanth's answer, have seen Vinoo's answer, and one sec. Have seen Pat's answer. The answer, of course, is The Bridge on the River Kwai, which all 4 scored on, which means Samanth moves to 2, Srinath moves to 2, Pat moves to 2, and Vinoo gets 1. Which means, Vinoo, unfortunately, I mean, we'll have to move on to the next tiebreaker without you, but hard luck and great going so far. You can attempt the next set of tiebreaks non-comp if you want. So Samanth, Srinath, and Pat all on 2 each. Let's move on to the next set of tiebreaks, and we follow the same scheme, 3 questions, and if it is tied after those 3 questions, we move to the nearest to the bull question.
Oh God.
Yeah, it should be good fun, at least for the people who are watching. Supported by a wire cage, what ancient artifact served as the inspiration for the iconic hairdo sported by Elsa Lanchester in the movie Bride of Frankenstein? I'll close the question in 10 seconds. All right, closing the question now. Can we have your answers, please? Samanth, if you could just bring it closer.
Oh,
Yeah, got it. So this is the bust of Nefertiti, which is what all three contestants said. So everyone gets 1 point on this. Question number 2. Which short-lived independent state was established from a series of land concessions acquired by James Brooke from the Sultan of Brunei? It received recognition as an independent state from the United States in 1850 and from the United Kingdom in 1864. We'll close the question in 10 seconds. Okay, closing the question now. Let's have your answers, please. Okay, I've seen all three answers. This is Sarawak. Sarawak is what Srinath and Samanth mentioned, but Pat said Sabah. So Srinath and Samanth are on 2 each at this point, and Pat is still on 1. The final question in the set of tiebreaks. In Jan 2012, which Indian castaway chose an anthology of Chinese poems as his chosen book and calligraphy materials as his luxury item? The choices mirrored some of his lesser-known works, such as 3 Chinese poets, translations of the poems by Wang Wei, Li Bai, and Du Fu, and The Revered Earth, 4 libretti drawn from 4 different cultures, set to music by Alec Roth and played by violinist Philippe Honor, and which was accompanied by calligraphy done by him, which is what you see in the visual. This, of course, is from Desert Islanders. We'll close the question in 10 seconds. All right, closing the question. Can we have your answers, please? Okay, so Pat says Rajdi, Srinath says Rajdi, Samanth says Vikram Seth, and the answer is Vikram Seth, which means Pat stays on 1, Srinath stays on 2, but winning the close but no final of ZQL season 1 after a great round of 64 questions where everyone was tied at 15 apiece. Samanth Subramanian with 3 on the second set of tiebreaks. Congrats, Samanth, and hard luck, Srinath and Pat. Hard luck, you come this close and just missed out. But great game, all of you. Thank you very much for this.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
you.
Well done. Well done.
Well done.
Well done, sir.
Congrats, Samanth.
Thanks, guys.
Well done. Great questions.
Thank you. Yeah, very nice
just,
session. Super.
Just a question: why Castaway for Vikram Seth?
Desert
No,
Island
this is-
Discs.
Desert Island.
Oh,
I was also puzzled by that. I was wondering if it was some Jan Martel thing because,
Yeah.
Life of Pi, he was
Correct,
on board.
yeah, correct. Which
And I
is why I
remember Desert Island
which is
was
why I
the-
clarified Desert
Yeah,
Island.
yeah. I was also confused.
But great game, guys. I think as setters for this event, we could not have asked for a better outcome in the regular set of 64. Thank you so very much.
Thanks, guys.
thank
Super
you.
question.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Bye bye.